more than anything, just be coachable, right? And just develop the skill to identify the right mentors and be able to attract the right energy, right? Those are I think, the top skills. And be accountable. At one point or the other in your career, you will need to take time to invest in education, whether formally or informally. You need to definitely invest in yourself throughout your career, because I didn't just go from computer engineer to head of sales. There were two stages in my career that I went through.
Hey, Cyber welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Mr. Fingers. You already know that cyber security guy. And today we are excited to have a special guest, a dynamic sales leader in the tech industry joining us. And he has over a decade of experience driving revenue and profit, leading teams, and also building strong customer relationships across the Sub-Saharan Africa. Now, he has from managing technical support teams to also developing strategic market plans. His career showcases expertise in business development, customer relations, and strategic planning. His ability to inspire and communicate effectively has set him apart as a leader in this tech industry. So whether you're just starting out in your career or you want to advance in the sales career as well, whether in tech as well, this guy is your go-to guy. He's so amazing. He's super inspirational. He's my brother. He's my friend as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my good friend, Nicho Gosebo. What's up, bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. It's impressive when you actually say it out loud. But yeah, I'm just an ordinary guy, doing my best to make a positive contribution to society. That's how I'm up.
So when you look at all the things that you have achieved, obviously from where you started to where you are now, like what's the first thing that goes into your mind?
I think for me, I've done my best in, besides just leading sales teams and stuff, is just the products and solutions that I've worked on throughout the years that impact millions and millions of people. That's the proudest thing I have, I would say, because I work in various telecommunication spaces and semiconductor vendors, but knowing that each and every day people communicate using the cellular phone and they're using our technology or technology that I had an input on, that's I'd say the greatest achievement and the most rewarding part of my job and career, to be honest.
100%. I like that, man. But how did you get started? Obviously, in your background, what is your background,
Okay.
and where did you get started?
My undergrad was computer engineering. I did it at Tony University of Technology. I picked it because it was like back then. I think it wasn't such a popular course to go into. Most people were going into IT related fields, but maybe do computer science. I wanted some practical experience, and I thought of myself as an inventor, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be such an amazing experience. Let's go into computers. Of course, I already had a passion for technology, so it was a very easy decision for me to study that. And then from there, fortunately, I think there's a lot of, I would say today, there's a lot of appreciation posts for like the first person that gave you a break job-wise. So for me, I think that also helped because computer engineering is very broad, and you cover a little bit of everything in IT. So you only like do, I'd say, focused studies when you do your masters. But for your undergrad, you do everything from digital programming to dealing with semiconductors, to dealing with robotics, to dealing with networks. So it's very broad. But I think from there, I enjoyed definitely dealing with people and interacting and doing presentations. And of course, now and then that side hustle, right? So I got complimented a lot on my people skills when I was doing my work there, and I think that also gave me the confidence to really get a role and get placement at my job. My first landed my first job at a company called Gemalto at the time, and it was an awesome company. I had an awesome manager, and I was a technical consultant essentially, and or intern for like first 12 months. It was awesome, and I got to interact with a very like-minded people. Obviously, they were older than me, more mature, more experienced. So obviously, speaking to them and consulting and understanding their journeys and understanding their visions and just using that to as a barometer to say, okay, but where do I want to be 10 years later? Right. So then that opened sort of, well, or sparked a light bulb in my mind to say, okay, maybe in as much as I'm passionate about technology, being on the technical consultation side is not where I want to end up. Where I actually want to end up is on the sales side. And fortunately, the role that I was doing allowed me to do a lot of pre-sales. So it was easy for me to branch into pre-sales. So there in farming, I would say that about an opportunity 3 years into my career to live in Nigeria, did a lot of traveling across, I would say, Africa and Europe, a lot of sightseeing, consulting with customers. So that really helped. And then obviously when I was in Nigeria, it really gave me a hustler's mindset. I think the people in West Africa are like super crazy when it comes to just putting in the grind and figuring a way out to make a living. Of course, it's not. I would say it's part of their culture. It's not like, by the way, thing I need to have a side business. Everybody's just figuring out how to improve their lives beyond a 9 to 5. So that entrepreneurial spirit and that grind mindset sort of rubbed off on me. And it just worked out because I also wanted to grow in that path. So I got a lot of mentorship from my colleagues in West Africa, in Ghana. And yeah, from there, then I charted a path for myself to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just focus on going into a sales role. It wasn't easy because my organization at the time liked or had developed so much or invested in so much in me to be a technical consultant, and I was going sort of against the grain in terms of branching out into sales. For them, they saw me as the next technical consultant manager heading up their team, but my passion lied elsewhere. So I left that organization, joined another organization that gave me an opportunity to become a business development manager or sales account manager at the time. It was super tough. It was challenging. Of course, I had done pre-sales, but when you have a target or a financial target on your KPIs and you need to hit that number quarterly, monthly, annually, it's very tough. But yeah, just investing in myself, studying a postgraduate diploma and then master's degree in business administration definitely helped to just quickly grasp business concepts and figure out, okay, how do I position my product better? All right, because the differentiating factor can't always be price. Like, it's about stuff like, okay, am I competitive with the whole feature set or unique? What's my unique selling proposition? So understanding those type of fundamentals and strategic planning and figuring out how to pitch it, who to pitch to, and who not to pitch to. Because sometimes when you're a novice salesperson, you spend a lot of time selling to the wrong people that really are not going to buy. They're keen. Your product sounds cool or interesting, but they don't either have the budget or they're not intending to buy anytime. So just sorting that out and figuring out how to place that. So that's how I transitioned from a computer engineer to a salesperson. Yeah, passion for technology and the passion for people just infused together, and backing that up with a lot of academia and practical experience and mentorship from various people. That's how I transitioned.
Yeah, what a journey, man. I mean, you've seen it all. You've traveled a lot, but what are the two things that you've learned from traveling around Africa that has taught you about obviously to be who you are? But because you said one of the things which they taught you and you've seen was hustling, right? I think
Yeah.
that's one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, one more. What's the other thing that taught you about, just living around those people?
I think honestly, like the exposure that you get when you travel across multiple countries, multiple regions, is dealing with different characters. I think when you grow up in one town, like I said, yeah, I studied in Tshwane University of Technology for my undergrad, did my master's at Wits. So Joburg is not really such a big place in Tshwane, in Pretoria, right? So, but traveling abroad, traveling to Angola, traveling to Malawi, traveling to West Africa, Central and East, you get to experience people's cultures and you get to understand that people are really different and you get culture shock and how people negotiate, right? Some people will just count you. So that type of knowing your audience and knowing how to approach different personalities, I think that's the biggest benefit that I got, including the entrepreneurial spirit that I got from West Africa. But just reading the audience, understanding the cultural dynamics and the differences, and how to interact with different people. Like in East Africa, the people are very chill, they're very calm. They also have an entrepreneurial mindset, but they approach it very subtly and very different from West Africa. And then I'd say in Sub-Saharan, you would go to a customer, you pitch, they wouldn't tell you no. They don't have a budget or anything. They'll be like nodding and going along, but the sales conversion takes long. So you need to understand, okay, the signals are different. If you're talking to someone in West Africa, if they don't like what you're selling, they'll tell you straight up, I'm not interested. We go to Sub-Sahara, people are like, a bit more polite in their rejection. So it's kind of hard to read the signals that are they actually going to buy or they're not going to buy. Do they want to have a relationship business-wise? Do you want to grow with them, or they're not interested, right? So that's the aspect. I think the biggest or second biggest thing that I took out of my experience traveling throughout Africa, just dealing with different cultural backgrounds and people.
Nice. I really like that, man. But take us through your day to day. What exactly do you do, and how, and what is your title at this current moment?
Sure. So I'm a head of sales at a company called Giesecke+Devrient. On a normal day, wake up, take my son to school, then arrive at the office, or before I arrive at the office, actually, I'd say that by like 7:30, 8, already checking my mails, going through the process of the day. I have my days very structured. I have periods where I dedicate for focusing. My 9 to 10 is directly for focusing. 8:30 to 9 is for like catching up on emails, just going through that. And then 9 to 10, just stacking up my day to say, okay, how is it going to go? And then from 10 o'clock onwards, I have meetings with my team, either catch-up meetings or scheduled meetings that are already in the calendar. Attend to that, get it, and then try to have one-on-one sessions if need be. Some of the products that we sell are from from Asia, east part of Asia, Taiwan. So we need to touch base with the Taiwanese colleagues very early to make sure that when they knock off at 12 o'clock South African time, we've already caught up on the meeting. So I spend my time doing that. And then from 12, I have a lunch break, do a bit of meditation and reflection. And then from there, jump back into it, making customer calls, following up on quotations, following up on proposals, reviewing, and just trying to execute the strategy, right, that we've put in place. And my mindset is, if I can't accomplish it by today, find someone who can on my behalf. I am fortunate enough to have people reporting under me, so I delegate and empower, especially on tasks that I feel that the person is equally, I would say, about 50%. 50% they can do the task without my supervision. I would really delegate that and then just provide pointers. And then at the end of the day, then review, okay, what did they do? And then I have junior people in my team, 2 people who are junior. So I touch base with them so that also transfer the skills to say, the day is over. Let's cross out what we did today, what we achieved. Think about what we're going to do tomorrow. We will knock off at about 4 o'clock, go over to my son, get home at about 4:15, then wrap up some emails, and then that's done. So yeah, that's how my day usually goes on an ordinary day when I don't have like a ton of meetings. Yeah, because sometimes I get stuck in meetings, but I try to manage that to like, okay, how do we make sure that if it's a management meeting, it's going to take 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes it does drag that long, that we don't, I feel they're productive, but they should be limited to certain days, not every day that you find yourself sitting in a conference room and just deliberating and having meetings about meetings. That I don't like. But yeah, that's, I would say, my summary of my day.
Yeah. Well, for people who don't know you, like, I know you on a personal note, right? First of all,
Sure.
you're a great leader. You are a great leader. Also, from obviously people can hear from how it sounds like, great leader, and you're a great person, a great human being as well. So let's say, for example, I'm sitting at home right now and I got inspired about this interview, and I'm like, okay, Nicho, maybe, let's say, for example, I'm a person who's coming from, this is just an example, I'm coming from maybe from high school, or maybe I come from a sales background, maybe I work in let's just put it in a furniture store, and I want to jump into tech sales. What skills do you think I need to acquire in order for me to jump into tech sales?
I think more than anything, just be coachable, right? Just be coachable and just develop a skill to identify the right mentors and be able to attract the right energy, right? Those are I think the top skills. And be accountable. And when you made a fault or you did something wrong, account for it, right? I think that's a hallmark of sales today. I think that all the mentality of salespeople are just selling stuff and then walking away and forgetting about the client. It doesn't develop long-term relationship with the client. You can sell it once to them, but if you want to have a sustainable relationship that you take from organization to organization needs to grow throughout your career, it definitely helps to have an accountability mindset where if you've done something wrong, or if somebody in your team or in your organization has done something wrong, you have the courage to say, hey, you made a mistake, take accountability, apologize for it, find a way to solve it. So developing critical thinking to work out problems. Don't say, okay, I'm not in the tech side, I would fail, it's not my problem, right? So you're not a consultant, or the consultants should sort it out. I think it should be a joint responsibility to provide the best service to the customer. So service delivery is definitely important. So depending on your horizon or how quick you want to get to your destination, one, and what vision you have, I think that also determines what approach you take, right? So if you want to have, I personally believe if you want to have longevity in business and lead large teams, definitely at one point or the other in your career, you will need to take time to invest in education, whether formally or informally. Because if you go the route that, okay, I'm going to just do it myself, I'm not going to go to a formal institution and learn the skills, you will pay for them practically, right? Whether by losing money or losing profits during the process of building your own business or what have you. So I think it's up to you how far you want to go and how quick you want to go. If you want to go quickly, I'd say definitely there are a lot of good short courses, a lot of online content that you can use to enhance your skills to get in or get through the door. But once you're in, you need to definitely invest in yourself throughout your career, because I didn't just take personally, I'm speaking from a personal point, I didn't just go from computer engineer to head of sales. There were 2 stages in my career that I went through. For example, I did a course, I think in 2014, 2015, about how to a technical person to a successful salesperson, because that's where I already knew that I wanted to end up 10 years from now. Having that long-term vision of, okay, where do we want to end up? I think that is very important. So I'll say, in summary, critical thinking, being accountable, finding the right mentors, and remembering that sometimes, or most times, it's not about money, it's about relationships. So invest in the relationships that you have and cultivate them and nurture them. And yeah, I think it'll pay off. It might not be immediately, but in the long term, it definitely does.
And you spoke about education. I really like that. You spoke about education in terms of obviously upskilling yourself. And I'm also a big fan of always upskilling yourself, because the industry is always changing. There's always new things coming in, new technology coming in as well. So what would you recommend in terms of educational courses that the person can actually try to look at, or the courses that you do recommend also to your team?
Well, it depends on the skill set, but for the scenario that you were painting, or someone maybe coming from high school, I think, or from like a junior retail salesperson, I think professional business writing is a good skill to invest in. I think a lot of people don't invest in that enough. I think just being mindful of the competitive landscape where you want to play in. So definitely critical business skills, and just bringing books. I think there's good books that tell you how to develop your business acumen. If you find anything that works around business acumen, I recommend that type of training to my direct reports and general teams, because the people that come with my office that don't report to me, they're like, hey, man, I like how you conduct yourself. I think I can learn a lot from you, but what should I do? And where do you want to end up? Right? What's your vision? Okay, if you don't want to do sales, it's okay, but just be mindful that you sell every day. Either you sell your concept or you sell to get buy-in from your internal colleagues. So definitely investing in a course to enhance your ability to communicate ideas that you might have, and better communicate the challenges that you might face. Then definitely that's something that you can do. And anything that you can study to enhance your mindset, so that you don't get crushed by rejection. I think a lot of people give up on your vision, whether to be an entrepreneur or to be a successful business manager, is they get crushed by rejection. So just remember that you need to have resilience. So anything that can help you improve your resilience, that's definitely something. I think for me, a lot of focus on soft skills is definitely necessary, that's why I covered that. In terms of hard skills, I think depending on your budget, for me, I was self-funded for my postgrad, which took a toll on my finances, and I was partially self-funded for my master's, which also again was like, man, tough. But sometimes you just need to take that leap of faith and use resources that are at your disposal. That resource can be you saying, okay, negotiating with your employer to say, can you give me an advance? I'll sign a retention contract with you guys for 3 years, but if you pay for my studies, stuff like that. So take initiative. Don't wait. So definitely a postgrad in business administration if you want to transition straight into sales. I think that's definitely a must. I think it will make you a robust business person, and you will understand nuances of business that a common layman doesn't get. There are people that will tell you that, okay, I made it without a business degree, for sure. But if you can't success versus the failures, then you see that the failure rate is very high if you don't have the skill set. It's like I always say, if you have the right tools for the job, you'll definitely do it more efficiently, right? So if you can't afford it, get someone who believes in your vision, who can fund you, and then you work through that. But don't be discouraged. I think a lot of people also get discouraged because maybe funding is not available from the government, or funding is not available from organization, broaden your scope, broaden your horizon, broaden your reach, and more people out there willing to help than most of us actually think.
You see, you've spoken like a true leader right there, man. You hit it. You know, you've just hit. I don't know what they say. You've hit the nail. I don't know, in something. Yeah. You've spoken like a true leader. No, I really like that in terms of mentioning those pinpoints, especially mention the pinpoint about in sales that sometimes you will get rejections, but how do you deal with rejections? And that's a good one as well. But in terms of that, how do you stay motivated, obviously, by trying to meet your goals and sales goals and motivating your team? How do you stay motivated?
I think from personal experience, different people are motivated by different things. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by achievement of those objectives. Some people are motivated by the recognition in public that they get achieve it. So you need to be honest with yourself and with what actually motivates you. For me personally, I'm motivated by the achievement of the goal. If I set myself aside on something and I visualize myself achieving it is enough. How do you say reward? Not to discount the other things that I've mentioned, right? But for me personally, achieving that objective is enough reward. Sometimes you will achieve it and then you won't get the reward. Also, you won't get the recognition in public, or you won't get the money deposited into your account that, oh yes, you did that, if it was a financial target. But for me, it's always about pushing myself the next level and thinking to myself, okay, did I do better than I did yesterday or last year? And if I am progressing, then it's great. If I am getting closer to my objectives, then it's great. I remember there was a time when I was 30 and I got to 30 and I'm like, hey, I had a plan when I was 20 of the next 10 years. Now I'm 30. Okay, I didn't think about the rest of the plan. So now I have to think, okay, what do I do? Okay, what's the plan? And I think about it and I hash it out. And that's why I say for me, it's actually achieving the objectives. That's what keeps me motivated and keeps the fire burning. It's just thinking about that objective and having that idea. What do I want to achieve 5-10 years from now? And it's very rewarding when you get there. And it's not like a simple objective, right? And it's all interconnected and everything falls into place. And it looks like it's success overnight, but the hard work and the dedication and all that. But yeah, it's nice to get public reward or recognition. It's nice to get financial reward. But I think if that's what your linchpin is, then you'll have a tough time climbing the mountains. But getting at the top and looking at the view, it's very rewarding.
You're actually one of the few guys out of all my friends in my circle who actually inspired me. I think we had a call a couple of years back in 2017, late 2017. And as we're having this conversation, so I'm just going to let people know. So as we're having this conversation, you said something really powerful, still stuck with me till this day. And you said this to me, and you even said it now. And you said, I have a goal for a certain age. You said, I have a goal for how much amount I want to get paid for a certain age. And I'm trying to achieve that particular goal of each age that I reach. I want to have this particular amount that I should be earning. And at first, just a moment in time, I was like, this man is crazy. And as time went on, it's called The Science of Getting Rich. After that, I read a book called The Science of Getting Rich. And my mindset changed. And I've gotten to understand why you were saying that. Because, you know, when you think big and when you hang out with like people who think big, you start thinking big, right? And when you hang out with people who think small, you'll be stuck in the cage and only think small. And just hanging around you, it made me realize that. And I'm really grateful to have a person like you in my circle as well, man.
Fantastic. I'm happy that I would have made such a positive impact into your life. I think that's the type of stuff that make the journey is so rewarding, and hearing people like, oh, dude, as much as we chat casually, but you inspire me. That's very, thank you, and I can say equally the same. I mean, you're always positive. You always have a positive outset on life, and despite all the challenges that we share, you always have a positive mindset, and that's the biggest thing I take from our relationship. Thank you for that.
So in terms of technology, do you guys in your particular team and what you guys are doing, do you use any specific technology to also try to help you out in terms of obviously creating documentation or obviously planning in terms of project management and all that? Is there a particular technology that people like, for example, should learn in advance before they jump into that?
I think it's the fundamentals. I think tech will always evolve. Tools will always change. Right now, we're using Salesforce for tracking all of our sales. Before, we used to use a different tool. It's just focus on understanding the principle. Focus on understanding what's important for the business. For sure, if you can invest in a particular certificate or a particular product, I'd say project management, there's a tool that I introduced, doesn't come to mind right now, that I introduced it.
Asana? Jira?
Correct, again?
Is it not Asana or Jira?
No, I've used Jira before, but that one is the sheet that you can get online for project management, right? So I introduced it at the organization and actually paid for my team to use it for I think whole year, and in as much as my manager appreciated the tool and saw the value that actually came out of the tool, we couldn't adopt it because of company policy, right? Because everything is stored on the cloud, and my organization actually we need to go through a vetting process because we deal with a lot of secure data for various aspects of the product that we sell. And to avoid breaches and people getting our information, we personally believe in investing in private cloud solutions. But it was such a good tool that we used it to manage projects and stuff. So it was very cool, and it would send people alerts to know how far the project was, and managing Slack between the different aspects of the project timeline, and making sure that we can optimize concurrent tasks. So that was a cool tool. But I think most importantly is understanding the principles. I did project management for my computer engineering degree. I also did it for my master's, but focusing obviously on different aspects. And just remembering that project management, which is the principle which is the principal point that I'm referring to, comes down to making sure that the project is delivered within budget, making sure it's delivered within time, and it's making sure that it's delivered within scope. Right? If you understand that principle, then it will allow you to really apply those concepts into different tools. And the same with sales. What's important in sales? Managing your sales funnel. How many sales do you have about the funnel? How many sales do you have in the funnel? How many sales actually make it through the funnel and actually convert? So understanding the principle will definitely help you. I think it doesn't hurt to learn tools, but I can tell you that when I started out in 2011, at my first job, we were using a tool called Link to communicate. And it was like, how do you say it? Now most people use Teams, right? And if you think about Link in 2011 and Teams, it's the same thing, man. It's just wrapped in a different skin. But the value of the tools that are packaged inside and knowing how to use them, I think that's the most important thing. I think that's what you should focus on, whether you are doing a formal education or you are learning a skill or using SAP, because we also use SAP at the office. We also use Sage, but the principles are the same. We have ERP systems, so that's what I would say. Learn how to use different ERP systems or the concepts of ERP or enterprise resource planning tools. Learn how to use project management tools and learn how to use sales pipeline management tools. For sure, now there's cool stuff like AI that you can use to like other
ChatGPT.
no, actually, yeah, ChatGPT. But this other customer of mine, I invited him to a meeting. We were chatting, and there was a bot online. And I'm like, oh, what's that bot all about? What's happening there? Like, no, it's actually taking notes. So we don't have to worry about taking notes. So it was just, and then at the end of the meeting, the notes are transcribed, which is super awesome. So if you find those type of cool stuff and tools that make you more efficient and make your life easier, then by all means use it. Like remember the principles, because at the end of the meeting, for sure that thing sends you the meeting minutes. You need to double check that they're correct. Double check that the action points are clear, which is again principles. The point of having a meeting is coming out with action items and executing those action items to deliver on the outcome, whether it's a new lead, whether it's just making sure that the project is delivered on time or what have you. Just making sure that you understand the principle. Don't just use the tool because it's cool. And then you forget actually you were in a meeting, it collected minutes, and then the minutes just go away. So use the time that it saves you from taking the minutes to listen attentively. Make sure you're engaging in the meeting, you're learning, you're gaining something out of it. And out of that engagement, the actionable objectives that you will execute and help you to manage for the next step of the project or whatever.
100%, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Any last words or words of encouragement for people out there who are listening and who are very inspired about this interview as well?
Sure. Last words, I would say believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. Have a long-term vision. Even if it's not like as far as 2 years, 3 years, have a vision to where you want to be and break it down into small pieces and work towards that. I think purpose is the biggest thing that we overlook on a day-to-day basis. So have purpose and focus on achieving that purpose. There will always be stumbling blocks. Just remember that enthusiasm is the most important thing to have. You will always anticipate that you'll be rejected. You're not going to be great at the first thing that you do, but the more you do it, the better you become. Then just believe in yourself and be humble. For sure, be humble and be accountable. And I think it's one of the things that people take for granted now. People who are accountable, people who are humble, and people who are dedicated. And be persistent. It's not going to be easy. It's not an easy journey. And there's nothing, for me personally, there's nothing such as quick success. If you want long-lasting success, you need to put in the work. No sweat, no gain.
100%, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you making time for coming through. And yeah, man, thank you.
Thanks for inviting me, Founder, man. And doing a great job. I think I hope that more and more people tune in and watch these type of podcasts that are motivational and that are positive. There's a lot of negative content on the internet, but I hope that more and more people actually subscribe to the channel and it grows so that it can impact more and more South Africans and people around the world.